Hello, we're going to talk about the AWS Chalice framework and a quick how to get started. So what is AWS Chalice? Well, it is a Python serverless microframework for AWS. You may have thought of serverless.com, or other microframeworks that are designed to help accelerate building cloud-based serverless applications. This is specifically from AWS for Python for AWS. So it contains a command line tool for creating, deploying, managing the application, as well as a library and framework for integration to various AWS services, and easy integration, and automatic generation of resources such as Lambdas and API gateways that route HTTP traffic to those Lambdas. So let's get started. Alright, so we've got an empty folder here. First, you're going to want to install some prerequisites. I'm on a Mac, so I use brew to install packages. But you want to install Python, the AWS command line interface, and I'm going to be using this little HTTP, called HTTP command line tool. It's like curl, but it's like a modern version of curl for APIs. Just makes things easier. Once you've done that, you want to pip install the Chalice Python library. And remember to AWS configure your command line interface to your AWS account. Alright, once you've got that in place, then you're ready to start. So we'll say Chalice, new project, let's spell it right, call it hello. Got a hello folder, go in there. We've got an app file and a requirements file. Let's see what's inside that app file. We have just a few executing lines of code right now. We're going to import the Chalice library, and then we're going to create a new Chalice app. This is the Python method decorator that says, hey, I want an API gateway HTTP REST API call at this location route to route traffic to this particular method. So whenever HTTP request comes in on the route, it will call this method and return this JSON object. We'll convert that dictionary to JSON object. So let's go ahead and run that. So we can run our Chalice API locally for quick debugging and testing before deploying to the cloud. The Chalice local serves it up on a local port on our machine. And then we can call it. We can just curl localhost in our local port, and we can see there's that hello world response. Or we can use HTTP. We don't have to specify if we don't specify the address, then it assumes localhost. It's a little shorter. It provides some nice colored output. We can see the response headers are fairly simple and basic. You'll see more here in a moment when we deploy to the cloud. And it takes the response, assumes it's going to be JSON, and provides a nice colored output. Alright, so let's get this posted to the cloud. Alright, so to deploy our little app to the cloud, we simply do Chalice deploy. And if you built any Lambdas on AWS, you may have gone to the AWS Lambda console, uploaded code, and put in a lot of configurations, created IAM roles. If you added an API gateway route to it, you would have configured an API gateway REST API for it, and all that happens right here behind the scenes for you. So now we have our REST-based API URL. That's the destination. Now that link is active anywhere in the world to run our API. I'm going to set a little environment variable here for it, and then we can just curl it directly. There we go. That response came back through AWS running in the cloud. And if I want to use HTTP, we can see that a little bit more by looking at the response headers. And we can see now we have the response headers, and we have all these additional Amazon AWS service API gateway and AWS service response headers and our output. Great. So let's do something a little bit more interesting. So we're going to edit our app file. We're going to come down here and we're going to uncomment some of these lines. And now we're going to add a new route to /hello and then parameterize it. We're going to take the next parameter, use that as a parameter into the function, and we'll use that parameter name as a response back. Great. So let's deploy this. Now this time when Chalice does the deployment, it's just going to update the code for that Lambda. So it moves a little quicker. And we'll call that again. But now we have a new URL, hello / and we'll say Bobby. So now we call that new URL Bobby, and use that parameter and passed it back. Great. Let's do a little bit more. Down here, we're going to add a new route /users, and this time we're going to be expecting a post method on our request. When that comes through, this method will be called. We're going to take the current request JSON body, we're going to parse it as JSON, and then we'll provide that back in the response. So we're going to return user, and then whatever body we post will be provided back in the response. So let's try that. All right, so now we see that we have the URL, and now let's call it. Now this is really easy to do with the HTTP. With curl, you need to specify the content type header of application JSON and such, and a post response with HTTP assumes that we're going to be doing a response if we provide some data. So we can call the API /users, and then we can say something like name equals George, and HTTP utility will convert that and provides a command line friendly way of specifying JSON, simple JSON objects and properties, and we'll post that to that URL. There we go. So now we can see the response for user and our object back in there. If we want to see the request that we're sending, we'll add the verbose tag. And we can see this is the request that we're sending right here. It has the content application JSON. Here's the name, and here's the full response. Cool. We can also just actually use the AWS Lambda functions line to look to confirm that that's a Lambda function. So we'll call AWS Lambda list functions, and I have a little JQ query here to look for functions that start with the word hello, and we can see, well, there's our Lambda function that we're just calling, and we can do the same way with API Gateway and see there's a response API. We could also go into the AWS console and actually go into these functions and look at them there. So next, let's do something more interesting. So we just created several routes, and this is actually being run under one Lambda, and the framework routes the incoming API gateway to the appropriate method, but it only takes one Lambda to do that. And that one Lambda will scale nearly indefinitely to support whatever workload we have. But what if we wanted to add additional Lambdas? We want, instead of just having the one Lambda for a REST API, we want additional Lambdas to perform other functions within our AWS serverless architecture. So to do that, we're going to add a new Lambda. Let's say app.lambda function. Let's say the name equals of this function will be boogie. Doesn't really matter what the name is. And then when that will, so this will tell the Chalice framework, let's create a new Lambda specifically called boogie, and it will call this whatever function name here we have as our incoming start function. So whatever name func, and it's going to be a regular Lambda, so it'll pass the event in context like a Lambda would. And right now we'll just return a simple object. We'll say message hello everyone. Okay, there we go. So that will, just those 3 lines will define that we want a new Lambda. Go ahead and save that. Do a Chalice deploy. Notice there's only one Lambda right now. That's for the REST API. And notice it created this new Lambda, hello.boogie. And if we call our list of Lambdas, we'll see that that Lambda's now in there too. Okay, so we could use the AWS command line tool to invoke that boogie. It doesn't. It's a standalone Lambda, so it doesn't have a REST API on top of it. But Chalice provides an easy way to call it too. So we can Chalice invoke, give it the name of. It knows already that we're in this project, so we don't need to specify the prefix. There we go. Invoke the Lambda, return the response. Okay, let's make that responsive to some input. So we'll go back to our message here, and the event object contains the input. So we're going to assume that that's a dictionary with some parameters, and one of those parameters could be message. So now we're going to parameterize that. Now to pass data into the Lambda, we can pipe it in through the command line. So we'll create a JSON object here. And we're going to echo and pipe that in. Fix my quotes. There we go. So it's properly formatted. So we'll pipe that little JSON string into the Lambda function. And actually, right now, nothing's going to happen because we haven't deployed the code yet. Let's deploy it. So we'll do Chalice deploy to update the new code. Notice it's updating the code in the function. Now let's call it, and there we go. Now it's taking that as a parameter and using that in our response. All right, we've seen how easy it is to create new Lambdas and REST APIs right here with AWS and Python and Lambda and API Gateway. The last thing is, if we want to clean up our resources, we can just run chalice delete, and that deletes the resources that were created, and that's all cleaned up in our account. All right, thanks for watching. Oh, I'll say one other thing. If you are interested in continuing, I highly recommend checking out this media query application. So AWS Chalice has some great tutorial samples. One of their sample applications is this media query. It's a walkthrough that uses AWS recognition to recognize tags inside of images that you have been uploaded S3, and maintains a database of those tags for you. It builds out this whole little AWS infrastructure with Gateway, Lambdas, DynamoDB recognition, SNS, simple notification services, and S3. It's a great walkthrough to see the power of Chalice and how easy it is to start up and build a cloud-based serverless application with REST APIs and backend orchestration. All right, hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.